And this is the back end of the community garden, or what we call the Echo Camp end. They allowed the staffers to plant here because we had already assigned the plots in the fall of 2023, and they wanted to reassign the plots. But as part of the policies, we are required to harvest our fruit, our produce, when they're in season. Otherwise, they consider it an infraction. However, these rules don't apply to the camp side of the garden because they will allow stuff to grow and rot on the vine, and it's all for show. But as you can see, it's not a good sight if you're in the aesthetics on how a garden should look and how pleasing it should be. In any case, it's a double standard. And as we walk back to the community garden part, you'll see that there's a semblance of order that allows for the harvest to be made, and that comes with caring. If you care about what you have and you're doing it because you want to do it as opposed to doing it because you've been asked to do it. That said, take heed and govern yourselves accordingly. This particular flower I like because it reminds me of the flower of life and the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. That's what I like about this particular flower. Rather than cut it, I'll take a picture and it'll last a lot longer. I'm filming from the west side of the garden, which is basically what we call the camp side of the garden. The garden is split in half, 12 plots on one side and 11 plots on the other. 23 plots in total. Well, my concern is that the community garden plot has policy that we're supposed to harvest the fruit when they're ripe, or the produce when they're ripe, and maintain passable aisles and just, good cultivation habits, weeding, and most of all, making sure that the produce is harvested in a timely manner. With so much food insecurity and the high price of produce in today's retail market, one would wonder why this particular side of the garden is negligent in its responsibility as gardeners. Here's one of the policies is that you're supposed to harvest the fruit. You can't let it rot on the vine. Rather than to give it away, I was told that this should not concern me. If it rots on the vine, let it rot. Okay, so much for food insecurity. Be that as it may, here is where the truth lies in terms of the teaching garden. So it begs the question, what are they teaching? And this particular herb plot belongs to Sarah. She doesn't do much for weeding, but young people don't want to do much of anything. That's my criticism as a senior who's been gardening here for the past 12 years. Be that as it may, I'm just showing the visuals of what should be and what is not. That said, take heed and govern yourselves accordingly.